upcoming racing esports super show. 13 letters, 2 spaces. Okay. Clash of Racers. Perfect. That makes Joshua Waters fit in. Oh, hey guys. There you are. I'm just finishing my crossword puzzle, but I'll be with you in a few. In fact, tonight, everything is somehow about crosses. A black cat crossed the street on my way here. You can put your cross on the voting form at the Simmy Awards. Stream team member Beau Albert will be talking all about Rallycross with us. And Lucas Spinelli should have had a cross in the back of his car in the GT Sports America's Regional Finals. So buckle up and let's get going. Another episode of Nitro Nights slides around the corner, and again, we have a full-packed episode, mainly about Rallycross this time. Our Showroom, the Trackmania Hot Lap, and the latest news and our Newsflash. Everything will be included. And of course, we have a very special guest again who will accompany us through all of this. Make some noise for sim racer Beau Albert from Australia.
Beau Albert started sim racing with F1 2013, before transitioning to Gran Turismo 6 and Project Cars, then finally found his mainstay at iRacing. And there's one track in particular the 21-year-old has shown his true colours on. He set the time trial world record on the Nürburgring Norschleife in Project Cars and managed to deliver a debut in the VLN series that anyone else could only dream of. A debut where he reached top splits in both the Porsche and GT3 class, a performance that no one else has ever managed before. Beau also became the winner of the 24 Hours of Daytona top split in 2019. And that's not all. You might even hear his voice or see him as commentator for various racing events. If you fancy checking out his skills for yourselves, then take a look at this week's Overtake Stream Team event on twitch.tv.
And of course, I'm going to be joined by Beau Albert. Very impressive resume, especially for someone who's only 21 years old. Every time I meet people who are younger than me by a significant amount, I'm like, oh God, I'm so old. But commentator, record holder, it feels like you have a stacked resume.
I've definitely tried more than a couple of things. I like to spread myself out over a number of different events. And I'm very thankful to have achieved so much in a very short amount of time.
So kind of moving into it, the video there just kind of talked about all the different racing titles that you've gone through before kind of settling on iRacing. Can you walk me through, what it is about iRacing that has captured your attention? Were you just looking for the most hardcore sim until you got there?
Not so much that. The thing I really love about iRacing is just how competitive it is, because the depth of field at iRacing is phenomenal. The amount of drivers that are just at the absolute top level is incredible. And you don't get that really on any other sim. Like rFactor 2 has its competitive races that obviously attract quite a lot of talent, but iRacing, it's almost every event you compete in where you find a stack of drivers who are almost world championship worthy.
So it's like the true esports level of the racing sims right now. You feel like it's all encompassing there.
Yeah, to a degree. I definitely think that, the level on iRacing, especially at the very top, is higher than anywhere else. That's not to say or discredit anywhere else, like I said, Corsa or rFactor or, let's say F1 esports or something, because that is a ridiculously high level. But what I see in iRacing, I don't really see in many other places, where the field is literally spread by no more than 4/10 in world championship level in something like the Tag Heuer Porsche Esports Super Cup. It's incredible and it's phenomenal to watch, in my opinion.
And speaking of incredible and phenomenal, you are quite a specialist on a very specific track, Norschleife. Can you tell me why you deliver on that track as well as you do?
It's a bit of a weird one, because I'm always looking to get the most out of myself and be as competitive as I can at a top level. And at the Norschleife, there's so much to be gained by just doing laps there and, having the knowledge of the track and where to position yourself compared to any other circuit, because, anyone can learn Silverstone. It's 20 corners, it's, a minute and a half in a lap time. But to do that over 170 corners and over an 8-minute lap time is ridiculous. So if I can do a lot of laps there, I knew I'd be very, very competitive. And I put the work in. I made sure I knew every little millimeter of the circuit, and it ended up paying off. And I've actually ended up being very competitive there. In the video, it mentioned I got a world record in Project Cars at the Norschleife, which was very, very good. And on iRacing, it's sort of where I really first made my name as well.
I mean, it's one way to put it when you're just like, oh, yes, it's very, very good. It's phenomenal to hold a record like that. Now, by 2022, I believe, you want to do full-time into sim racing. What do you think that kind of looks like or needs to be accomplished for you to be able to reach that? Do you think that there's enough space or growth right now in the ecosystem for anyone to actually be a full-time sim racer?
Already there are drivers that are starting to do sim racing full time, and whether that's as a driver, whether it's as a commentator, a streamer, or a YouTube content creator, there's a lot of different outlets at the moment. For someone to be able to do sim racing full time. I think when people think of sim racing full time, they immediately go, "Oh, world championship competitor, and he wins all the races." But I do believe there's a lot more avenues than that, and especially if you are, like I try to do, maximizing yourself in a number of different areas, whether that's commentary, video content creation, streaming, and as a world championship driver, and you combine all four of those together, I think you give yourself the best shot to do sim racing full time. So whether that is possible by 2022, I'm not sure, but I'm giving it my all to make it happen.
No, I love it. There's, mediocre kind of gets thrown around as a dirty word, but ultimately, if your esport can protect the mediocre or the middle of the pack and not just the top end, but also supporting the bottom end, then you get to make a full-time career out of it, whether it's commentating, content creation, like you were talking about. In terms of kind of how different styles and different racing that you do, you kind of talked about all the different content. What's your favorite type of racing that you do, or your favorite type of racing that you compete in?
My favorite type of event that I compete in has to be Rallycross. I love it. It's brutal. It's aggressive. It's all out. It's a sprint race. No one holds back. It's just exciting, and there's nothing left on the table at any opportunity. In endurance racing, obviously you watch the first hour or two of an endurance race and everyone's just, getting their fuel numbers, just being nice and calm to each other. In Rallycross, we're just knocking each other, around, bumping doors, all aggressive, passes everywhere. We've got jumps, joker lap strategy, and that's condensed into 7 minutes. It's fast, it's exciting, and in many ways, I feel like Rallycross is almost the perfect esport.
That is very high praise. Now, of course, we'll be taking a closer look at Rallycross in just a moment, but before then, we have our quickfire round. Now, this is fairly easy. I'm going to ask you a couple questions, just off the top of your head, lightning fast. You just got to answer them.
All right, let's see what we can do.
Exactly. No pressure. Favorite racing game besides iRacing?
Assetto Corsa.
Okay. Personal hero of esports racing?
Mitchell de Jong.
Favorite car?
Volkswagen Beetle, Rallycross.
That is actually not what I actually expected there. Favorite track?
Oh, really?
Not the expected track.
Langbanen, the Rallycross circuit.
Okay. What does esports racing need the most right now?
Exposure.
Okay. And favorite camera perspective?
Cockpit.
Perfect. Well, you have survived it. Congratulations, good friend. Now, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the iRacing Rallycross Championship, which Beau is competing in.
You've already heard about the iRacing Rallycross World Championship in our Newsflash several times. And as our guest Beau Albert is also a contender, it's about time to tell you how this remarkable series works. 31 drivers from 14 different teams are currently competing. A maximum of 10 drivers at once compete on a small circuit, which features several sections, some on asphalt, others on gravel or dirt. Another characteristic feature are big jumps. Steady action and contacts are the ingredients that make Rallycross so special. Each driver has the chance to make use of only one joker lap, allowing them to take a shortcut. This adds another tactical aspect to the races. As of now, 5 drivers can still compete for the World Championship title in the final round on December the 5th. Johan Harth and John Robertson of Team Yokohama are leading the grid on P1 and P2, even though they did have some tough times on their way up the rankings.
Coming into the hairpin here, and this is Rasmus Toivonen, or is it just losing it himself? Oh, yeah, there you go. Around he goes. Thank you very much.
Finnish duo Tommy Hellman and Johnny Ollikainen are in pursuit on P3 and 5, both driving for Set Esports. In between them, you'll find no other than the all-round wonder child Mitchell de Jong on P4. He only managed to win one round this series so far, but has been impressively consistent.
P1 won 50 in a row when Rallycross was released on the iRacing service. And here he is, Mitchell de Jong, winner from Lucas Oil Raceway for round 7.
All the drivers are battling for a $25,000 total prize pool, and 10,000 of those will be leaving with the champion.
Now, Beau, you gave it very high praise, calling it practically the best esport or the best type of racing for esports audience. Now, what do you think really makes it special as a discipline comparatively to other racers? Like, what techniques really define Rallycross?
The thing about Rallycross is it's so unpredictable in the form of there's that many variables packed into what is essentially a 7-minute race or a 10-lap race. You've got to be good on tarmac. You've got to have the setup right. You've got to get the launch correct. So if you don't get the launch, your race is already over before you've even entered turn 1. Being good on gravel, being good on tarmac, getting the strategy right as well. There's a lot of variables. And, in the modern society, not many people have a lot of time on their hands. So as an esport, you need it to be quick fire. You need it to be, action-packed and exciting from start to finish, and no lulls or breaks in action in between. And that's where I think Rallycross is perfect, because there is no lull in the action. It's always drama-filled from start to finish, and it's short as well. So you can get an entire, World Championship level event done in less than an hour.
Actually sounds like and reminds me of CSGO almost, with kind of like the different tactics, the fast pace, the tempo there. Now, you're exactly in the middle of the leaderboard. Does that put, pressure on you that you could theoretically slide back, that you still have a way to go? Or do you feel really secure just kind of being in the middle of the pack?
I'm happy with where I'm at, simply because there's been a lot that hasn't gone my way this season, including very awkwardly. The races start very early in the morning here in Australia. So for the last round of the championship, I did actually sleep in. And that's just one of the joys of being in Australia. So I've missed 2 rounds this season. So that has dropped me down the points order quite a little bit. With the performance I've done this year, I'm happy. It's my debut season in the World Championship, and we came very close to winning round number 1 of the season. We came close, but it wasn't to be. But I'm happy with where I'm at. And the standings, I'm not too worried about, because, again, I don't think they reflect where I should be this season.
And, of course, we'll wish you the best in that as you continue to hopefully climb. Now, you've also talked about kind of the mental fortitude and the mental strength, particularly through qualifying rounds. Do you have any tips for our audience about what you would do to train that, or what you really focus on?
So the one thing that I did not expect to help me out that much when it came to sort of mentally preparing myself before a race is actually doing a little bit of meditation. So it's not something I've ever done before, but one of my teammates actually recommended it to me, and he said that it helped him out dramatically. So I thought, at the start of the pro qualifying season to get into the Rallycross World Championship, I was struggling a little bit, especially in high pressure situations. I was nervy on qualifying laps. I could feel my legs shaking if I knew I was up on a good lap, and that was putting me off. So I wanted to try something to really, step me up into a new level of mental strength for this kind of a series. And meditation helped me out to leaps and bounds, especially in qualifying. I found myself a lot calmer. And when there came to a situation that was extremely stressful, I found myself able to think clearer as well. And, I never thought I'd be someone who would vouch for meditation, but it worked perfectly for me.
You heard it here, guys. Yoga for meditation and to make your butt look great. Now, the last question is, there's a debate between kind of the hardcore sims and the arcade sims. And you feel pretty strongly that we really shouldn't look down at just the simcade games. Can you kind of walk me through that debate and what your stance is?
At the end of the day, exposure in sim racing is what we need, and for that we cannot afford to just be prioritizing the simulation games, because while yes, I do naturally prefer the simulation games, your iRacings, your set of courses, your R factors a little bit more, that's just my personal preference. The fact is, if something like Gran Turismo, which isn't a full simulation, if something like Formula 1 2020, of course, which is doing phenomenal as an esport, if that grows, then that will trickle down into the simulation games. And if the simulation games grow, that's going to trickle back down to the arcade games. If one side is doing well and the other side isn't, then our growth is slower. But if both sides of both simulation and arcade are doing well, we collectively as a community, as an esport, grow faster. So I really don't think it's worth, putting each other down because we perhaps drive on a less realistic sim, because at the end of the day, it all falls under the sim racing branch. So I think if we can help each other out and grow sim racing as a collective, it just benefits everyone, and it's it's not worth arguing which sim is better.
This is the easiest part about interviewing any sort of commentator. I'm a commentator myself, and you always just get concise, eloquent, perfect answers, very well trained in terms of like answering media questions. So I agree with you. It's about the collective ecosystem and making sure that everything is healthy so everyone is healthy. Now, we do get to move on to our social showroom. We're going to start by showing you a bunch of tweets. You'll be able to see them yourself, and I'll just ask you for some reaction. The very first one is actually from another part of our stream team, Hoki Hoshi, who streamed last time. And had a bit of a ridiculous experience here. He cuts through the woods and does a beautiful job dodging all of these trees. I cannot say the same for the other person who was driving around. Right, here we go. And just eats that wall.
Yeah, look, that's definitely a little bit of destruction there. It's not something you'd like to see on the public road, that is for sure.
My favorite thing, though, is like somehow some of the ridiculous, because everyone always talks about like the hardcore sim racing, but you also do get like some of those lovely moments where you are reminded that we are in a video game and sometimes ridiculous things just happen.
And I love those moments. It's fantastic to have a bit of a laugh and, a bit of a laugh at, something going wrong or, just a little bit of chaos as well, because, life can be bland at times. So I'm always up for a bit of a laugh at something going a little bit wrong.
Now, our next tweet is guys, we announced the Clash of Racers 2 is coming out, and we have a competition. Now, can you design the perfect car for our racers to race around in? You can download the PDF file. I already tried my hand at it. It is not one of those beautiful creations. I basically made a Frankenstein monster mess. Beau, are you good at designing cars?
Oh no, absolutely not. I've tried to make some liveries in my past. If my team that I compete for, Altus Esports, if we don't have a livery for something, I'll try and do it myself, and it's a sight for sore eyes, very much.
Well, good luck to everyone who's going to compete. Now, next we have Lucas Bonelli actually took a hit from behind. Now, this one I think a lot of people have seen, and a lot of people feel very strongly about it. Beau, what's your take here? Do you think this looked intentional? Was this just an accident, just something unfortunate that happened?
It does look a little bit like the contact was exaggerated there. We'll get another look now as they're side by side, and I just think... I don't think that was intentional by any means. I think it was just an unfortunate thing we see in sim racing sometimes where two internet connections sort of fight one another and it sort of creates a result that's not quite realistic. So it's unfortunate to see, and I feel bad for the person who was left making sandcastles in the gravel there, but I don't think there was any harm in that.
And then our final tweet is actually from our previous episode. We took a look at a game Automation. We checked down into the comments. And someone here says, I can confirm that Automation has taught me more about cars than the 5 years in a mechanical engineering degree.
I'm a little bit worried what mechanical engineering degree they're doing there, but Automation, what a game. That is absolutely fantastic. I love it.
I mean, to be fair, when I saw Automation, I was like, oh, you can design any car you want. And then it started getting into the engine mechanics. I was like, I don't know, this may be above my IQ right now. I don't know if I can even figure out how to turn this game on, but apparently we can also possibly give out degrees in the game.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, we will find out. Now, the last part is the hot lap. You've survived the questions, the interview. Now, have we briefed you about the hot lap? It's Trackmania. Have you played before?
I have done absolutely nothing on Trackmania, and I played maybe a minute and a half a little bit earlier today just to make sure the controls worked, but my experience level is below average by far.
That is exactly what I wanted to hear. I love it when people are virgins for Trackmania. So we're going to go ahead and set Beau up on that, and we'll see you right quick. And welcome back to the Trackmania Hot Lap. Now, Beau, no pressure, but Oceania drivers tend to do very well on this. In fact, the fastest time was Emily Jones with 50 seconds, or 50.713, because, we move fast here. Now, you don't have to necessarily beat that, but you do need to beat our slowest time, which is 1 minute and 37 seconds. You know who you are. Beau, are you ready?
I'm not ready, but let's do this.
Perfect. You've got 3 minutes to attempt this, so you may now restart the course, and good luck, good sir.
Oh.
Okay, now,
right.
The first turn is usually the hardest, but in your practice runs, you nailed this. Okay.
Can I do it this time? We shall see.
A little bit slow off the finish, or excuse me, the start line, but that's okay. Okay. This is looking. Oh, yeah. That round 2. Here we go. Okay, round 3. Here we go.
We're not doing that great. I'll be honest.
It's I've seen worse.
We need some dirt.
Okay, that's good.
Oh.
That's great. Okay, perfect. Now you're gonna go into the S curves. Oh no, wait, you gotta do it. Oh no, S curves into loop-de-loop. Also not great.
Joker lap.
Okay.
Joker lap. It's fine.
He's got the shortcut. Does he have enough speed? Yep. Okay, perfect. Okay, now you kind of want to stay on the edge of this and not get too much air time over this like weird hump. Yeah, okay, good. Contact with the crowd.
This is very conservative.
That's better than off the course. Okay, we've stabilized now. This is feeling good. You just got like 3 more turns before you go to the jump.
There's a jump.
Yeah, it's more of like a launch pad, but this was not actually that bad for your first go. Okay?
Okay.
You've got time to make it a little bit faster.
Okay, no pressure.
My favorite part is how it starts each time and you just kind of you warm up to it. You're not like taking off the start real quick.
This is not a Rallycross launch, that is for sure.
Okay, no Joker lap this time.
No.
This is impressive. Already making good time. I think he's got it, guys. Okay. Okay, yeah. Good adaptation. Not taking any airspeed. Last 3 turns. You're gonna take like a full 15 seconds off the turn. Oh no, never mind. I spoke way too soon. Huh. Still, about 3 seconds off the laptop. That was actually really good.
Okay. See what we can do.
I mean, you won't have any more time to complete the lap here, but
No.
I do respect how much faster and how much better you got over this. This is truly, I think, a Trackmania first. How quickly you mastered it. Oh no.
You say
I spoke too soon again.
You spoke too soon.
Congratulations, Beau. You
I'm
made
okay
it
with
actually
that.
really solid. Would you like to thank anyone?
I'll take that.
Shout out to your fans.
Thank you to the poll for being in my way on my first run.
Okay, thank you to the poll. Now, you're actually going to be on our stream team, and it's about 1 hour after the show goes live. Can you kind of, give us the viewers about anything that we're going to expect from you, or what to look at when we see you on the stream team?
So one of the main things I want to use the stream team for is just sort of getting my point of view on sim racing as, trying to be as competitive as possible and really doing the iRacing simulation side of things. So I want to get that across, do some iRacing official races, some ranked races, and hopefully have a bit of fun as well. I want to do a community race as well. So for any of you guys watching the Overtake stream, then we'll have a race where you guys can join in as well.
Amazing. I can't wait to see it. And a reminder, guys, that's going to be about in 1 hour from now. Now, Beau, thank you so much for joining us. Now, while Beau does leave, we still have tons of show left for you, including the Newsflash. So let's go ahead and take a look. We start our Newsflash with the MotoGP Esports Championship R4 in Silverstone and Valencia. The 2020 MotoGP Esports Championship came to an end last Friday on November 27th. On the circuit, Ricardo Tormo, a new champion, was crowned, Adrian Montenegro. He managed to grab second place in the final race, which granted him enough points to claim the championship. Now, not only did Montenegro win the title and a giant trophy, he also scored a BMW M235i X-Drive Grand Coupe road car. Now, driving talent seems to run in the family. His brother Christian Montenegro climbed to third place and won a gaming laptop. Former participants for the FIA Gran Turismo Championships 2020 series have been decided in the Americas Regional Finals, which took place on Sunday, November 29th. Now, the 16 participants had to prove their skills in 3 rounds, and the final top 4 received a golden ticket to the World Championship. Brazilian sim racer Adriano Carrazza managed to win the last round at the Sardinia Road Track A, and with it, the entire regional qualifiers. When asked if it had sunk in if he was the American champion, Carrazza replied with, "I don't know. If I'm the champ, am I the champion of America?" After receiving the confirmation, he finally cheered with a very loud yes. Congratulations. Now, the final standings were extremely close, as all 3 racers that made it to the podium acquired 38 points overall. Angel Instraza and Andrew Brooks scored a top 3 finish in all 3 rounds, which secured them their slot in the World Cup. Brazilian Lucas Bonelli was only 0.005 seconds faster than his opponents in the final race. His overall performance was enough to grant him the 4th and final spot in the main event. Now, Formula 3 racer Igor Fraga participated in the qualifiers as well, but unfortunately, he couldn't excel and finished in 8th place. Next up are long endurance races that demand the patience and concentration of drivers for 6 hours straight. Now, round 2 of the 24-hour series took place on the Sebring International Raceway on November 29th. Ronin Simsport claimed the victory in this round with Filip Mitrevsky and Vincenzo Amico as drivers. The two were driving a Mercedes AMG GT3 and established a lead of around 11 seconds over runner-up Biela Racing Team. 3rd place was claimed by Manti Racing. Originally, it seemed like Williams Esports was on a straight road towards victory. Unfortunately, their driver Dominic Stab faced issues with his sim rig, and they had to stop racing an hour before the ending. We have one last bit of news for you guys. You can still cast your vote for the Simi Awards. Now, voting will be open till December 6th, so hurry up if you want to help your favorite driver or event take home the trophy. And that's it. That's it for the Newsflash. We'll see you on the other side. Before we come to an end tonight, let me tell you this. Have a look at Beau's stream team session, which will start 1 hour after the show at 21 CET. Watch him prepare for the big iRX final or join him in a community race. Also, mark December 13th in your calendars as a 2nd edition of Clash of Racers is fast approaching you. Again, 2 captains will try to lead their team consisting of many fancy racing celebs to victory. It will be even bigger and more interesting than the last time. Promise. And that's it. You've made it to the end, so reminder guys to stay safe, buckle up, and I'll see you next time.